I've been looking forward to this all week. Grab a cup of tea, pull up a chair and take a deep breath. This moment is just for you and me. Life moves fast and the last couple of months have had me dodging curveballs while juggling others. And you? And I was actually wondering whether hiding under the bed counts as self-care. We all need to slow down now and then, whether we call it catching our breath, me time, hermiting, or calming our nervous system. And today I want to share with you my secret. So let's sit back, sip our tea, and explore how connecting can quiet the chaos. I'm the Forest Fairy. Welcome to my corner of the woods where I'm rebuilding, revamping, redesigning a magical life and hopefully inspire you to gather your own fairy dust. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fabulous week. Autumn is creeping in carefully as the nights are now cooler and my ankles colder when I sit and work. But the middays are still gloriously hot and swimming is a must. And especially after the last couple of months. My sympathetic nervous system was in overdrive and my body was constantly unsure whether it should flee, fight or freeze. Our sympathetic systems were very necessary in the days when we had to flee those saber-toothed tigers. But now with our modern day stresses, it can sometimes hit overdrive, causing a constant flow of cortisol and adrenaline. And we know too much of those can cause all sorts of challenges, such as weight gain, fatigue, digestive systems, and disrupted sleep. Our parasympathetic system, on the other hand, is the part which calms the body and mind after the danger of the saber-toothed tiger disappears. So it's this system that I try to activate and cultivate when life gets just too exciting. And the best way I found to do this is by regularly connecting through various practice and rituals. It took me nearly 60 years to recognize this. I'm a slow learner, but I hope my sharing helps you recognize some go-to practices for you. As always, please remember that this conversation is not medical advice, and I strongly suggest you visit a professional if you are battling to get back to a balanced life, or if you're worried about your symptoms. Regularly connecting with the innermost part of me is vital to a calm mind. Sometimes, like the inner child, I have to tell my inner adult that we've got this. Everything's going to be okay. But to reach her, I have to quieten down and bring my self-care and self-actualizing rituals to light. My day starts with meditation, but I use a variety of forms which the purists will then probably say aren't meditation. Sometimes it's a blank meditation as I sometimes it's a conversation with God, and sometimes it's thinking in a very relaxed manner about a challenge, and then noting what solutions float up. I get most of my best ideas and guidance when gently meditating on something or when out walking. And then sometimes it's a silent prayer when I'm off kilter. I believe God knows that sometimes we just can't talk and that sitting with Him is the best that we can do at that moment. Early morning journaling is a close second where I share my thoughts after a night's sleep. This, I find, puts a little bit of distance and less emotions on things, and I can ponder on the good, the bad, and the mediocre. I gain some hindsight and perhaps some foresight, and then there are a variety of flow activities, which I've done at some time or other in my life. These are the things that allow you to be so focused on what you're doing that you forget the world around you. Breath work, qigong, knitting, especially if it's an intricate pattern, gardening, listening to music, have all been some of the flow activities that I've done over my life. A good friend recently took up weaving. A cousin has become a phenomenal artist, while another friend is at her happiest cooking. All excellent flow activities if you focus as you should. Then there are the mindful self-care rituals such as massaging my feet, a cup of tea on the stoop, and a nap to shift a mood. And then one major thing that keeps me balanced, grounded and inspired is regularly connecting with God, my higher source. I can almost immediately feel when I've become lackadaisy about this spiritual connection. As I become anxious, I overthink, I sleep poorly, and I feel down. And surprisingly, I become oversensitive to light and sound. I have a very unique and non-traditional relationship with God, but it's the one that gives me the knowing that I'm not alone and that I'm abundantly blessed, loved and supported, always and forever. My connection starts with The early morning meditation expands to various conversations with God during the day and culminates with an evening practice of AMWAP, as many wins as possible. I recently came across this practice in a video by Swift Films. The explanation is towards the end of the video, which I'll link below. AMWAP is a gratitude practice focusing on your little and big daily wins, and the idea is to jot down as many as you possibly can right before you go to sleep. Not only will it focus you on how much you have to be grateful for, but also to notice the small blessings. I have definitely been known to hug a tree or two, sometimes just as an expression of joy of the beauty around me, but mostly to genuinely absorb their peaceful, healing energy. And as more and more research shows that connecting with nature is good for us, so my activities are increasing. I'm back to my morning walk, which now heads up this list of activities, with ocean bathing a close second. Probably my very favorite way of resetting my mood and nervous system. I now have a pair of goggles, and I just love dipping my face into the water and searching for shells, or just enjoying the ebb and flow of the kelp. But I realize I'm particularly blessed to be able to enjoy the ocean, as most of my adult life was spent in a landlocked city. So there are other practices which one could implement, like walking barefoot in your garden to ground yourself, cultivating some beautiful indoor plants or a small veggie garden, stargazing, cloud watching, and of course cuddling and brushing a pet. The experts say this can substantially raise your happy hormones. And then there are the health benefits of connecting with your tribe, which could include but not be limited to your family, close friends, colleagues, club and society friends, neighbors, and people you pass on your walks. I really have to watch this one because I'm quite happy to work and potter around my cottage for days on end, and often find the thought of going to the shops or visiting our morning markets or meeting up with friends almost too much of an effort. But I know I always enjoy the outings and feel inspired by the gorgeous people I see, the interesting conversations, the gorgeous goodies for sale, and just generally the knowledge that there is so much to appreciate outside my gate. So I try to keep up with friends, even if it's just a voice note or a message. Accept invitations and occasionally entertain. Although a bit stressful, I do enjoy bringing out my favorite crockery and choosing an unusual menu and making people feel at home. And so there you have it. My not so secret anymore way of calming my mind, body and soul. Connecting. And as you've heard, connecting could take a variety of forms. What ways do you calm your mind and body and bring yourself back into balance? Please share with us in the comments below. You may just share an idea that sparks a change in someone else's life. If you enjoyed this conversation, you might like the one romanticizing my life, how I'm doing it my way and being authentically me. Wishing you a week filled with healthy practices and mindful self-care, and of course, sprinklings of fairy dust. Until next time, goodbye.